On today's video, we are talking about why so many people are moving abroad, specifically from United States. And they moving abroad, whether it's here to Dominican Republic, or it's Colombia, or it's Thailand, Brazil, it don't matter where, but why is the reason. And to me, those destinations were always there and always have something why people desire to be there. But lately had become more popular for people to move abroad. And on today's we are discussing why is that reason. What do you think about that topic?
It's a hot topic.
Oh, I forgot to mention that we picked this topic because we have received so many comments and email, and also when we meet with people, they always give us a reason why they are moving. And most of them have like kind of the same reason, but some others have different reasons than others. So that's why we're discussing some of those reasons that people give us today.
Right. It's not necessarily the reason why the reasons we think, which, a lot of the reasons is because it's the same reasons, you know what I'm saying? But it's not because of the reasons we think, it's because we, when we meet with people, they tell us they all have similar stories. So it's a hot topic now, especially with, I don't know if I should say that or not. Well, with the election coming up, it's becoming a more and more hot topic for people to entertain. And depending on where you stand regarding the election, if it swings one way, one group of people want to leave, and if it swings the other way, the other group of people want to leave. So it's not like it's either or. It's like, hey, if this happens, then I'm leaving, or if that happens, then I'm leaving also too. So
yes, and it's not like something that I was just thinking, and it's not that none of these countries, especially let's talk about Dominican Republic because we live here, I'm from here. It's not like Dominican Republic, it became over the sudden more developed. It have wonderful jobs for people or anything like that. The people say, okay, we are moving to Dominican Republic because, like I say, Dominican Republic always been there. It just had become more popular for the past few years for people to come and move over here. Well, but always people have been traveling over here for vacation and things like that. But lately, like I mentioned, it has become popular for people to move abroad or have us in mind to move abroad. So it's not like nothing changed in here on any of those countries. It had to be something that had changed in the United States that people are feeling that way.
Right. Well, I would say things have changed. I think things have gotten better than in the past. But I feel what you're saying. It's not like that the Dominican Republic is the same Dominican Republic for 20 years ago. It's actually getting better, and I think in that conversation, I think people can see the progress that it's making. And of course, it takes time to develop a country, especially when you get an influx of people who wanting to come. And I think that's what recently happened. Like, it's an influx of people want to come, and so now they have to, improve the infrastructure to actually accommodate all those people. And I know, some people, they like to say that, the infrastructure's not good enough for them to be charging such and such, or to be, even just to move here. But I think in the past, it wasn't there. But just being here and me seeing everything going on, they're definitely improving. But of course, things like that, roads and bridges and stuff like that takes time for you to, it's just not an overnight thing. But that's another video.
Yes, of course, things have been developed here in the country. It's not like the same country that was 20 years ago, like it stayed the same. It has been changing, but what I mean was it was nothing that drastically that it making people changing their mind because it was something that changed here in the country. But yeah, of course, things have been changing slowly, but we are getting in there. As a matter of fact, I say, it's not such a good infrastructure for them to be charging more. I think that's some of the reason that we have so many high prices now, because a lot of people are moving over here. That is why driving the prices up.
Right.
But some of the reasons that we have that people usually, or most people give us, one of it is political division. And that is one thing that we have been seeing for what you would say like about 8 years ago, like 5, something like that, that we see this, I don't know, in the political aspect, you are seeing things that you didn't used to see before. It looked more like a third world country. I think that we mentioned that before. It looked like more like things that they saying to each other, how they call themselves, like people putting names and things like that. Something like, come on, we are grown, or they are grown people, we are grown people. Why they have to play like that? And you know, all these things makes people to take sides. And when you take sides, it all division and problem and chaos and all that.
Yep, the political division has just became just, you know, unbearable. It actually started in 2008. That's when you start seeing it start to actually divide. And
So about 16 years ago, you think?
Yeah. That's what it is. Yeah, it started to divide then, and then and it continued to the point to where it is now, where it's to a point where if you're for one side, you gotta hate the other side, and you know, you're seeing, you know, friendships broken. You're seeing households and families breaking apart due to political view. And it's really, what it's doing is like you say, it's making you choose sides. And because you can't even live in the same neighborhood. If your neighbor doesn't have the same political views then you guys at war. That's crazy. Here, you know, it's not like that here. You know what I'm saying? It's not like that. Yeah, people are into politics here. Politics is really big here, but they're not breaking up their families over it.
And yes, of course, I mean, when it have to be politics, here I have seen cases where people just start in a place that they are probably just together drinking or play dominoes or whatever. It just because a political conversation come up, you can see, I have seen people, they just fight about over political stuff. Yeah, I've seen some of them even take it a step further than fighting. So sometimes they take it to the extreme, but it's not like that tension that you see, that I see on the news in the United States.
It's isolated incidents. You know, some people are passionate about, you know, what you're talking about, you know, one individual, two individuals are passionate about their political parties. Over there, you got a whole, the entire population almost are passionate about their political party. Once you acknowledge what your political views are, people all of a sudden put you in a box, depending on where depending on what you say. And that could get uncomfortable, because I think it's okay to agree to disagree about politics, especially when you start talking about tax rates and you're talking about, you know, maybe immigration or, you know, certain policies, you know, things like that. That's okay to have a difference of opinion on, and those are things that we can debate civilized. But when it comes down to, you know, calling people out of their names, degrading people, dehumanizing people, that's where we got to draw the line at. And that's the point that's causing all the divide, because it's no longer about policy anymore. It's all about all these other things that really have no place in politics to me.
It's like taking things to the extreme, because politics is just like other things that we people are not supposed to, like when you were in big group, not discuss religions, sport and things like that. But it is just become to the point that it is like ridiculous. Like, really? I mean, where from here, where we gonna go? Like, you already taking it this far. I mean, after this, what is left? So what we gonna do? We're gonna kill each other? Just gonna tell you, whoever is not agree with me, I'm gonna start killing all that group that don't agree with my politics or my party or whatever. But that's just I mean, that I like somebody, it don't have to be a reason for why you don't like me or be my enemy. I mean, you can like who you like, I can like who I like.
Right. And like I said, it just goes back to, it's not about policy anymore. It's not about a policy. It's about name calling, dehumanizing, power, and all that type of stuff. So that's where it's become, and that's why people are saying, "Hey, I have enough of it." And
I don't want to hear. I say, like, I don't want to hear anymore. I'm good. I want to break from that. I want to just how you say, detox from that. And another point is, everything is got more expensive, and I understand it have happened the same for everywhere you go. Everything is more expensive, housing, food, everything is more expensive. But I think that versus of what you, especially for people, like, let's be clear, most of the people that move abroad are people they either receive a pension or becoming to receive a pension, or what is the other one? Retirement. And so are most of the people they be moving abroad. But when everything got more expensive, it becoming that money that you receive as a pension or as a retirement is not enough for you to live over there. That is why this is another reason why people are choosing another country to move abroad.
Right. Yeah. It's just that's I think that's probably the number one. I think that's the number one is that it's getting too costly just to live in the United States. Like you said, inflation has happened all over the world. And after COVID, everything seemed to get expensive,
even more
everywhere. And going back to politics, you got one party blaming the other party and this and that, which is crazy. Inflation, that's just a part of life. Part of life is inflation. Things are going to go up. But that is one of the main reasons people have decided to say, hey, I can't even, like you say, I can't even afford to live off my retirement. $2,500 a month living in the U.S., I don't know where you can do it. I'm sure you can do it somewhere in the Midwest, out in Montana or South Dakota or North Dakota, on the plains. You could probably do it, but you're not going to be able to do that in a major metropolitan city in the United States. I just did a video on my channel kind of breaking down how you can live here in Santo Domingo, which is a major metropolitan city, for $2,500. That's just unheard of in the States, and not even just major metropolitan cities. In some of the even like smaller metropolitan cities, you can't do that either.
Yeah, because I remember when I first moved to America, or United States of America, because if I say America, people are gonna say, "Oh, Dominican Republic is in America."
Why they do that, man?
I don't know. I think we are getting out of the subject, but this is so ridiculous, petty. When people refer America, we all understand that Dominican Republic is in the Americas. But when we say America, I think everybody understands what specific we are talking about.
Right.
When you talk about Dominican Republic, we don't say, when we are in the United States, we don't say, oh, we're going to the Americas, but the Americas of Dominican Republic. We say we're going to the Caribbean, we're going to Dominican Republic. When we say we're going to America, majority of people understand that it's United States of America. But for some reason, when I move to America, somebody gonna say, oh, but Dominican Republic is in the America. Okay.
As if they're teaching us something. It's like, we did a video where we said something about America, and then people said, oh, Dominican Republic of America. And we made sure that we went and deleted every comment that said that. Because it's so petty that you can't even say America, and people have to that the Dominican Republic. Listen, you can go anywhere on this this world, and if you say I'm from America, the first thing that comes to somebody's mind is the United States. They're not thinking Canada, they're not thinking Mexico, they're not thinking the Dominican Republic. They're thinking the United States. So to interject that as if you're being you're smarter than everybody.
Like you don't know Dominican Republic. Yes, I do know, but when I'm over there, I'm not saying I'm going to the America of Dominican Republic.
Y'all stop being petty with that. We understand. We took geography. We know history. Come on, man, knock it off.
Mm-hmm. So what I was going with that is, when I first moved to United States of America, which was Huntsville, I remember things was so cheap that you can, Huntsville was so small, and you was able to live. I would even say with $500, you can even was able to live, rent an apartment, small apartment for yourself for $200 or $250, and then use the rest to eat or whatever. Yeah. But now, I hear, because I haven't go to Huntsville in a while, but I hear they have got way more, not developed, but bigger, more developed, because more, what you say, most businesses, and it got more developed. I don't think even in Huntsville you can live with that anymore.
You can't. Before we sold all our property over there, the last property that we sold was my house, and I was charging $1,100 for rent. So
it was a 2-bedroom.
Yeah, it was a 2-bedroom. Actually, it was almost like a 1-bedroom. But
and then a studio because the other room was very small.
Mm-hmm. But I was doing $1,100 for that. So yeah, so if you think about a family house like 3-bedroom,
probably you got maybe like 16, 17 or something like that.
Right, because that house was like, the one I had was like 900 square meters or something. Not square meters, 900 square foot. I'm talking meters because I've been there so long. But yeah, I don't think you can't live in like smaller towns like Huntsville or Birmingham or Mobile and these type of places for $2,500. So
not with everything included.
Not with everything included. I mean, you're gonna really be pinching on some pennies if you did that. And the way food costs over there with a family, they're saying $500 or more, even per month. Inflation has gotten out of hand, and the wages just is not catching up. And the only thing that happens is when they increase their wages, guess what they're gonna do? They'll increase the amount of what things cost. Because the businesses ain't in the business to lose money.
Yeah, it's like everything go hands to hand. When one thing go up, everybody say, okay, I have to pay more on this, so I need to increase my prices. And then the next one, you wanna go with the next one?
Yeah, so the next one was random violence. We get a lot of people who also talk about random violence in the States as the reason why, they're looking to leave. And not that there's no violence here, because pretty much, and I would say everywhere you go, but most of the places you go where there's a large number of people, you're gonna have some type of violence. It's just, that's just how just how the world works. But in here, there is violence. I've seen it on the news. I've seen it on social media. But what I've noticed is that a lot of it is more targeted, and it's not just like random. Like in the States, you don't get people who walk into churches and do something bad to people. You don't see people walking in grocery stores and doing something bad to people. You don't see people walking in schools here doing something bad to people. So violence and random violence to me is two different things. I don't want to be at the grocery store, movie theater, church, and all these other places, and then have to, or my kids at school, and I have to be concerned about random violence.
Yes, like he said, crime or violence happen everywhere. Here you can say we argument that you can see some of the stuff that happen over here, but like he said, it's more like target when they targeting somebody, or some how you call it? No, petty package. I don't know.
Theft.
Petty theft.
Oh, petty crime.
Yeah, petty crime. They're gonna steal something for you, some money, or things like that, which is happening here. You will say I will always say in certain area. It's not everywhere they happen, but it do happen here. But it's not the same like you see over there, where it's more like random. Like people came, like you see for no reason. Like sometime I was watching the news, somebody was with a gun in the middle of the street. They was arguing. You don't know who was arguing with. He was just on the street with a gun. His people were just walking and watching and looking. And sometimes they just go to church or whatever. They start shooting at people. They don't even know the reason. Nobody knows. They have to figure it out what was happening in this person's mind to do what they did. Or they're checking on social media to see what was his problem.
Yeah, and even just regular road rage, you see people just get mad because you get cut off. They'll get out of the car, start shoot people over the big
run over you,
or run over you, man. It's just it is just wild, man. The random violence in the United States is just, I don't know, it's just turned crazy. I typically see a lot of it when I'm on social media like YouTube or Instagram. All the random violence, just the crazy things. I seen one where a lady was going to church and the guy just, she was walking up the steps and he just walks up the steps in front of her and just pushes her down, takes her car keys and go, jump in her car. It's like, why? The chance of you seeing somebody push an old lady down the stairs as she's going to church here is very low.
Yes, I agree that certain, I would say the aggression like that, that's something that you will know, that you will see here very often. or at all. Not to say at all, because I don't want to say no at all and then it happened a case, but that is not something that you normally will see here.
Right. And one thing I want to say is when we mention stuff like this, like Dominican Republic being safer, it's always a Dominican that comes out that says, "Oh no, you're not correct," and it always baffles me because we understand that there's crime here, but why Dominicans want this place to be a war zone? I just don't understand it. I think you guys ought to be happy that you have a piece of paradise that you could say that is, fairly safe to be here. But they like to always say, "Oh no, it's this, and that. Oh, you gotta go here, you gotta go there." And I just find it weird. I would be happy to say, "Hey man, this is a very safe country. It's fairly safe. It's safer than the U.S." But whenever you start saying that it's safer than the U.S., they start to bring, like, they have to have this, they want to be veered as dangerous. People in Singapore, people in Portugal, they're not happy. They're happy to say that their countries in Japan are happy to say their countries are safe for people to be in.
Yes, and that is another subject. I have to make a video of that, but yeah, it is like, changing a little bit the subject. When you talk about, I found that weird because when I was living over there also, like, it's like the example that I give when you say that you're gonna move over here, especially Dominicans, when you say, "Oh, I'm not going over there, it's too much crime over there," and this and that, and they are the first one. And most of the time, they be putting the country in a bad representation.
Yeah. And I don't care what none of them say. The United States is way more dangerous than the Dominican Republic. And then another thing people say from the United States when you say that, "Oh, you gotta look at the population." Man, I ain't looking at no population. Listen. Random violence is random violence. One guy said, "Oh, well, crime has went down 30% in the last 7 years." Well, to me, that ain't good, man. Going down, so, killing, 10 out of 10 people to killing 7 out of 10 people in the last 5 years, that still ain't a good statistic to me.
Yeah, it's still too much.
It's still too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's supposed to make me feel good. No, it don't make me feel good. It needs to be 0.
You're talking about perfect war?
What?
You're talking about a perfect war?
Well,
that's a perfect.
It still
war.
need to be 0. We need to be striving at 0%.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah. We won't get there, but
yeah.
wishful thinking.
Wishful thinking. Okay. So you have something else to say about that?
No, I didn't grind my axe.
Okay. So the next one and the last one that we have is social problems. And when we talk about social problems, we're talking about when we talk about social problems, the little small things that society now, I don't know, we live in a kind of society now when everything is kind of backwards or wrong, right, wrong, like things have many different names you have to call now. It is like, well, I don't know if you should make this joke. I mean, that was when I was having dinner with my dad for Father's Day, and we took him to a restaurant for breakfast, and he was looking at the menu. Of course, I ordered for him, and when the lady he asked for something, and the lady asked, "Oh, you want this? You want this? The flavor, this flavor." So she mentioned about 5 different flavors, and then that's what he said. That somebody make a joke and say they go into a store to buy a pair of shoes, tennis shoes, and when you go to the store, the lady asks, "What kind of tennis shoes you want? You want a running shoes, a dress shoes, so many different kind of shoes?" She say, "I just want a pair of tennis shoes. That's all I want." With that, I want to say, I know it was long, but with that, I want to say, before, life used to be so simple. And one thing, it was this or that. But now, society making so many different things that things are becoming uncomfortable for everybody. And it's like you can even say this, you can even say that, you have to say this. You know how people call themselves, or how they describe themselves, identify themselves with a cat, with a dog, with I mean, it is just going crazy. And that is another thing that is making people that they don't understand society anymore. And United States is, I think it is, just tell me if I'm wrong, but United States of America is the number one place with like everybody, like, well, not everybody, but a lot of people do anything and anything. They have to make a room for everybody, like to please everybody. Like, I mean, come on, when you gonna put a stop to certain things?
Yep, it's crazy. You know, I'm not gonna go too much down that rabbit hole because, you know, I got a lot, you know, I could say a lot about that, but when things are no longer, you know, black and white anymore, and I'm not meaning race when it comes to that, I mean just, you know, right or wrong, this or that, and it's all this gray area, you know, things just get convoluted. And regardless of how beautiful it looks, when you walk into Baskin and Robbins and they have all these 31 flavors, a lot of times the more options you get, the harder it is for you to choose what you want. And sometimes, and most of the time, human beings don't choose right for themselves. And we just need to kind of get back as a society to not all this Baskin and Robbins type thing. Like you say, everybody can be whatever they want to be, and not that I have an issue with it, because I don't. I mean, and you know, you probably say, why are you talking about it if you don't sound like you got an issue with it? But it's not really an issue, but what it does, it just brings a lot of confusion. Mm-hmm. It brings a lot of confusion. It just brings a whole new set of problems. And like I say, you can't, if you say certain things to people, you know, you gotta call person this, you gotta say this, and even just in the workplace, man. I remember being in the workplace, and I mean, you were able to just be yourself, and now you gotta watch what you say, because if you don't, you know, offend this person, you offend that person. To me, that's not freedom to me.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they call it freedom, right, but that is just too much.
The freedom to be able to choose to be, yeah, that freedom. But when you have that freedom, you don't have the freedom to say what you feel. You know what I'm saying? You can choose to be who you want to be, marry who you want to marry, blah blah blah. That they give you the freedom of. But if you say something that doesn't align with that, then that's not, and then you get punished for it, that's not freedom.
And then they call you that you are this and you are that. Right. Like with the social problem, we have specific, I'm not saying like gender, like because people they'll say, oh, you're talking about that because people who want to be, they want to be. When you're talking about gender, like a female, male, female, or. But after that, then now people calling themselves like identify with a cat. I hear that the other day. I identify as this. So when is gonna be? I mean, so they're gonna say now that you can identify as an animal and be okay? I'm looking at you. You are not an animal. How are you gonna identify? So things had to like it needs to be a, how you call it? What is the word that I'm looking for?
The line need to be drawn.
Yes, it is to be certain things where you have, okay, this is and that, because then things are going crazy. Right. But this is just craziness to me. This is just crazy.
Right. And part of also societal is, I don't, you know, because like you say, people think you're just talking about gender and things like that. But also just, and it's kind of coupled with crime too, because now that, you know, people can commit crimes like thefts and things like that, and if it's, you know, they just walk in stores and just start taking stuff, and if it's less than a certain amount, then they don't even go to jail.
I hear that too.
They don't even get prosecuted. So things like that, that's just weird, man. It's just weird. Who wants to live in, I mean, it sounds like the Wild Wild West to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear that. That was another thing crazy. They can come over there if what they steal is under a certain amount, like let's say $200, they don't even go to jail. Like they can go and pick whatever and just leave the store. They don't even give a take even the time to call the police because they're not gonna happen.
And
That's
even,
crazy.
And even like we've seen the smash and grabs in California where they go in these department stores and just take things, and the security is not even allowed to chase them. I mean, you're not allowed to do anything. Who wants to live in a world like that?
Yeah. Before, if you was caught stealing, you were stealing. It don't matter if it was a piece of candy or it was a piece of gold. It was stealing because that was the act that you were committing. It was a crime. I mean, not a crime, but it was a
crime.
Yeah, it was a crime. You were stealing. That was the act. But now, okay, if it's that less, we ain't gonna bother. Well, so what are you doing with that? You are calling people to go and do what they want to do. You know, it's only gonna be a certain part of the population. They're gonna do whatever they want to do.
So yeah, those are the reasons that we've been hearing people are deciding to leave the U.S. because of the political division, how expensive things have gotten, the random violence, and all these social issues that just keep coming up. So people want to go somewhere where things are. And it's kind of weird to say normal.
A little bit more normal.
Yeah, but a little bit more normal, and that's what I like about living here is that things are, to me, it's normal. It's normal. The Dominican Republic does have some things that they do that are abnormal, but in terms of their way of life, it reeks of a little bit more of sameness or normality, if that's a word.
I agree. So this is most of the reasons that they have given us that we hear from people. So, but I know that other people have other reasons. So if there's any other reason that you have, you can always leave the comment down below. So this is all what we have for right now. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and also share. And we will see you in our next one. Bye.
Peace.